All right. Welcome back. Second part of my Polaroid adventure. And as I previously said, I'm going to start off the second part with removing this bloody PCB that is a total mess. And I'm going to start here because I also need to remove this bit that is actually the bit that goes to the shutter assembly, and yeah, I need to remove this one as clean as possible because these wires are not to be changed. Now I have some solder wick that I think I'm going to try to use. Now normally this one comes rolled in a little thingy, but since it's the last bit I no longer have that thingy. So it probably means that I'm going to burn my fingers a bit. Let's see. Alright, as much as possible. And now I'm going to try to... oh, this one is already disconnected, and this one. So I'm going to try to slowly lift Alright, that was pretty clean. And that means that I am now, in theory, able to remove this part. Alright, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 screws that I need to remove, and as far as I can see all 4 are Torx screws. So let's see if this chunky screwdriver has enough access. Luckily they are very untightened. That one is the trickiest of all because it's in a very stupid location, but I guess I'm lucky this time. Okay, nice. And now how am I supposed to remove this part? Let's see. seems to me it's riveted in place with one rivet here and one rivet here. In which case, this is bad news. Okay, I'll just put a couple of the screws back until I can figure it out. I might need to drill those rivets, and then I will need to find a way to resecure that part of the cable. But I'm pretty sure on his videos there was no such thing. So I might be actually missing something obvious, but I don't want to make a big fuss out of it. I will just take everything one step at a time, learn from this entire experience, because that's the second most important thing. After the first most important thing is getting the camera functional again, but the second most important thing is learning. It's a learning experience. I like it, and with each of these cameras, not Polaroids in particular, but any kind of cameras, I learn new things and I develop a way of looking at things. Alright, so I'm not particularly interested in removing this nicely. I just want it out of here. So I'll be a bit more medieval about it. If possible. Yeah, a messy job, a messy job. There you go. We don't need these traces anymore. these are connected to some contacts that are held in place by these screws. So in theory I could take them out with the PCB, but those are needed to stay in place. And since I might get away without messing around with these gears, I prefer to just leave them in place. Oh, this is so bad, it's actually cringe for, I mean, it's cringe for me. I don't even want to think how it looks like to someone who actually knows how to solder. But in my defense, I am not really that terrible at soldering, but these things are actually a real pain in the ass. So I just gotta take them apart. However I can. All right. I will most likely use the lead con when I'm going to solder the new one back, because I probably heated up some parts enough with this one. Alright. And on this part, alright. this looks a bit different. So on my other camera, so this PCB has this oh Jesus, how it's called? This thing, it has this thing that goes somewhere here in this space, because the body seems to be identical, while the other one, this one, has a different shaped thing that is attached to the PCB and goes in there, and it should lift like this. So this is different. I don't know what this is. I mean, it's pretty much the same kind of stuff, but it looks different, and hopefully it does the same thing. 6 legs. This one has 5. I mean, it has 8, but 3 of them are cut short. Alright, so that's the story of the PCB. And I probably need to use a lot of vinegar to clean up this mess. But right now I'm interested in how I can remove this. So that will be the next thing on my to-do list, and when I have the answer I will continue this video. Alright, I did it. I don't know if it's the official method. What I did, just a second, I'll put it back so I can show you. Okay, so this was like so, and this little thing was somewhere like here. Anyway, what I did, I pulled apart these 2 tabs. This thing came off, and then this thing can actually come out of the tabs with a little mention. Underneath there is a little hook, a very small hook that goes into a hole. So you need to unhook it, and then this thing can lift. This is the hook. I don't know if you can see it. It's part of this protection elastic spring-like thing, and it hooks in this little hole. Everything is rusty around there as well. Alright, so now I can finally remove the lens assembly, lens shutter assembly, and I will soon need to clean up the table because there's a lot of things going on. Alright, so this is the shutter assembly. The lens is pretty dirty, but I think it's only on the surface. I'll just put this to the side for a bit. this one goes here, and it has a couple of screws up here that you can leave aside. You don't really need to put them back, because this front panel is pretty tight as it is. So alright, we'll get to this probably next time. A couple of things that need to be done. Couple of very fine solder points that I will need to unsolder in order to flip this over and get access to that blue thing. That is the capacitor that I need to change in order to allow the camera to use 600 film. So it's a green and yellow capacitor. I will measure it to see what capacitance it has. I will also need to remove this, and this in order to reach the blades that, as far as I can understand, have some kind of anti-static coating, and that coating is some sort of a paint that flakes off and does all sort of bad things. But how do I actuate the shutter? Oh, okay. Well, the shutter seems pretty snappy. Let me see if I can get to the shutter actuator without messing anything. Nice. It seems to be working nicely. All right, now this goes to the side, and I can get back to the main problem. All right, now this upper part, this one, is held in place by these 2, 3, 4 pins, if I got it right. So I will need to take the pins out. And normally, if you push on the inner part of the pin, it should come out on the other side. So one pin. Now I don't know the length. It uses different lengths of pins. I don't know them by heart, so we'll take it one step at a time. Two in the front, two smaller ones in the back. And that one is not budging. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I don't think so. I think I just need to be more persistent. Yeah, they are not budging. Maybe if I can keep it like this and use something to push down. But what? I should be using something very thin. Well, that's another challenge that I'll need to figure it out. And I'll be back after I am done with removing those pesky pins. Yeah, so whenever in doubt, use a bigger hammer, right? I popped the first one, and now I'm going to pop the second one. I just place the camera like this, used this probe, and simply press down on the bloody pin really hard. And at some point it made a popping sound. This one didn't. That was the sign of success. Well, obviously I don't have the right tools because I never had to work on these cameras, and probably if I would be doing this more often, I would slowly start to collect various little tools that could make my life easier. Alright, so not much to see here. A mirror, a lens, both extremely dirty that I will clean. Everything else seems okay. This is squeaky. Well, probably some grease here and there would help, but I'm not going to take it apart because this sort of metal bellows is probably attached by these two little flaps that I need to bend in order to be able to rotate this part like this and access the inside. So I don't think it's necessary, but we'll see how the cleaning goes. Alright, and now I am left with this. And the bellows is attached with these two screws, I suspect. Yep. And probably some clips on the side. And at the rear, it should have two more bigger pins. That's one, and that is the other. And now I still need to pop some little clamps that are located, I think, here and here, and those are a bit tricky to reach. If I don't reach them, I can't really... Can I? No, I don't think I can. Let me see if I can see them. Okay, let's get some inspiration. So in this case, this is opened and it has these two little metal ears that are clamping on this little tab, I think, that is a bit broken, and another tab here. So I would have to actually push them aside in some sort of way. Now Mr. Eric, if that is his name, because I still haven't checked, uses some sort of a tool like this, and he pokes around, I think, through here, and he feels something that he's pushing and the thing simply opens. But unfortunately I do not have his experience, so I wouldn't know what to push. Why did they do this? Well, because they have a special tool. I mean, they had a special tool, like a film cartridge that you would insert here, and it would poke on the two things and open this bloody... Nope. Okay. Alright, I think I have one in sight. Oh, I was... Oh, damn. That was easy. So on the right one, I went through this hole, I saw the little clamp, and I was trying to push it inwards. And obviously that did nothing. And as soon as I pushed outwards, it snapped. Alright, so that is one. So it means that I can go through this hole, just that I can't see it. So I will have to poke around. Oh, if I could only see it. Okay, so it needs to be here. So this part of the tool should go all the way in, and I need the other curvature. So basically you need to reach with the tip of the instrument. Now this one is kind of sharp, so it's not the right tool for the job, but you need to reach exactly here to push the little bit of plastic that clamps inside this ear. Let me see if I can use something like this, maybe. And I will still be going through this hole. Nope, it's not curved enough. Well, it was as easy as pushing down on this bloody thing. Alright, and now I can separate the two. Alright. Whew, okay, some progress. This one ultra rusty. I will need to polish a bit, that little bit of this pin. Let's check the mirror. See, the mirror is loose on one end. That means that at some point it can simply drop inside and make a mess. So in order to remove the mirror, to re-glue it, I need to break, I think, that little tab so I can swivel it. because this is the mirror that got broken in my camera. So if I break this one, I'm kind of dead in the water because I do not have a replacement part. But some progress has been made. And this is the bottom part of the camera. This protection I could have taken out from the very beginning, but I did not, so I will just do it now. It's kind of clipped in place and it simply sits on top of the gear train. All right. And this is the broken piece. This front part of this piece has broken. Now, in order to remove, let's see, this one. How do I raise the mirror? This is lowering it. And this raises it. Oh, that's it. All right, I did something. Okay, so now I have access to this mirror that I can clean. I also have access to all that rust, and I also have access to these two contact pads or contact springs that basically connect to the battery inside the film cartridge. So I will have to clean this mess. I'm not really sure how, because it's a pretty bad position there. And this part, the mirror, and as much as possible in this area. All right. The Fresnel looks pretty decent. This mirror looks just dusty, but it's decent. And now, in order to lower the mirror, I need to rotate this gear towards the back of the camera, right? That means this gear towards the front. Well, something is not really right here. I did something. I hope I didn't break something. But yeah, I will take my time to figure out how all these gears work, so how the gear train works and how it relates to the motion of the mirror. What I do know is that if at some point the mirror remains kind of stuck in the up position, so you can't close the camera, you can, by turning the last gear towards the back of the camera, you can pretty much lower the mirror, so that would allow you to close the camera, if I got it correctly. All right, but I think it's enough for today. The only thing that I would like to mention now is that to replace this, you can either do it on spot, so you would need to remove this screw and this screw, and then this thing simply lifts off, but by paying attention that on the end of the lever it has a pin, and that pin engages in this plastic part, so it's more of a pull and turn motion, I suppose. Or the other option would be to completely remove this panel. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws, and then you can remove the panel. You'd also need to disconnect this spring, and you would be left with this. So I'm not really sure how this gear train works. Hopefully I will figure it out. Alright, time to organize some parts, otherwise I won't know which screw came from which place. Okay, I'll be seeing you next time when we will do more stupid things with the Polaroid.